I've spent a ton of time building the perfect multi-driver kit, and enough of you have asked for it, so today I'm giving it to you, along with all 3 stages that led up to it, so you can see exactly what fits your needs. They all have major pros and a few cons, so I'll make sure you know the good, the bad, and the ugly. Starting off with the basic multi-driver, everyone has one, and most people just think of the basic 11-in-1, but there are better options out there. One of the biggest things with the 11-in-1 is the proprietary bits. Now, when I tell you that's okay, this is going to work. If you have this, it'll last, it'll work for you. But options like this, Wera multi-driver here, they have what is called 1/4-inch bits. They're not proprietary, and you don't have to be stuck with whatever they have in the driver at that time. If you strip out one of your bits, you can actually replace it with just one of your regular 1/4-inch bits. It also means if you do something weird and wacky, or you want something very specific, you just have to grab a 1/4-inch bit and put it in here. I love that about this. This is the most basic, so it's going to be the fastest by far. It's also the easiest to do and the cheapest option on this list. However, the other thing that you get with this versus this is this pulls out and it can go in your impact. That means if I grab my impact and this driver, I have not only a screwdriver, but I also have all of these in my impact that can go with the 6 different bits in this carousel, the bit that's in there now, and pretty much do anything I need to. This has one of the thicker holders on it, which is the downside to this one, specifically the Wera. Personally, I don't mind. The amount of times that I have to get to recessed screws is pretty limited. It's always made a big deal. I think it's less of a big deal as long as you have what you need when you need it. But as far as like general work and things like that go, it doesn't get in the way hardly ever. The other part that I like about this is it does collapse down. So you can see it's collapsed. If I pull this, it comes out. It's a normal length of a screwdriver. And then if I hold this down, it comes out. And now I have this amazing bit holder that can go in my impact. Preferably not with a flat head. We don't want that in my impact ever. But I've also got 6 other bits here that I've changed out and customized. They're not the Wera bits anymore. Not all of them. Some of them are, like the number 3 Phillips and the number 1 Phillips. I just don't find myself using those in my impact super often, or really hardly ever for the number 3 Phillips. But if I wanted to put a T10 security Torx bit in there, I could do that, and it would be absolutely fine. This is going to be the smallest setup as well. Obviously, this is going to take up the least amount of room. Everybody's going to have one of these. Some people live off of them. Personally, I prefer dedicated screwdrivers though. That's what I carry in my bag 24/7, but I also always have a multi-driver. Sometimes you want one, but personally, I've found that the dedicated drivers just fit better. They work better. They don't get in the way as much. They're also a lot lighter. And so that's one of the reasons that I went on this quest to find the best multi-driver system or setup ever. And it's evolved quite a bit over time. If you've seen the channel, you've seen portions of it, but this is the newest, most updated version of it, which I absolutely love. People ask about it all the time, so I figured I would actually give it to you guys in a full, detailed video. That's going to be our last one. You'll see it here pretty soon. But as far as these go, they're pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I do love this multi-driver specifically. There are other options. If you really like the 11-in-1 style, I suggest you go with the Klein, the 11-in-1 impact rated version, for a couple reasons. And truthfully, you have to really think about this one though in a different way than you typically do. This does not have bit storage on it, right? It has the traditional 11-in-1 style where these bits come out and they flip. All of these bits are proprietary except for the top one here, the number 2 Phillips, which is actually really nice. I don't love this in your impacts, by the way. The sockets will work. The black bits are pretty brittle though, and they will break. But this number 1 Phillips here will actually come out. I can put whatever bit I want to in this front piece here, which is really nice. There is no onboard bit storage, which isn't great, but I can turn this screwdriver into any basic screwdriver. It is going to have that 11-in-1 base, so you do get all of the nut drivers as well, which is pretty cool. It's a great system. This portion, the front portion, you do have to deal with all of the stuff getting stuck or being loose, falling out potentially, that I kind of hate about that system, but the 11-in-1 impact rated version does fix a lot of that. So you can take this out. It can go in your impact. But what that also will allow for you to do is have a regular 1/4-inch bit here, right? So now any 1/4-inch bit I want to put in here, I can put in here. So we go ahead and grab our Wera. We can pull this out. This isn't something I would necessarily do, but if I wanted to put this in here, I can. The place that really comes in handy is when you don't just have the regular bit holders here, but you actually have some extended bits. Like if you wanted to use your impact rated bits, and this is going to be part of the system that I show you guys later, so you'll see why this is on there and why it's so important. However, it also means that you can have whatever you want to on the back side. That'll fit in here at least. So if you wanted to put a 3.5-inch impact rated bit on the other side that was thin, you could, and that way you don't have to deal with the lack of reach. And you also have a bit that's very easily replaceable, which is something I really like. I do like the impact rated 11-in-1. I kind of can't stand the regular 11-in-1. I know people love it. I know people who live and die by it. It's pretty much all they have in their pouch every day of the week. But personally, the utility of having a dedicated driver, this is the exact driver I carry. This is my driver. The versatility of having this, the fit on screws, how light it is, and also when you're working, you got to think about workflow. Having more than one driver is much faster than flipping this around and doing this. Like, instead of having to fumble with this, flip it around and do all that, having a number 2 Phillips and having a flathead in your pouch is significantly easier for me. It's faster, they're more effective, and they just work better. That's really where this whole thing began. And while I do love this, I definitely keep this in my bag 24/7. There's just better options out there. Coming in at our second tier, you guys, this is where things start to get interesting. And the pros and cons for this one are actually very drastic. The cons especially. And this is a newer kit. I haven't had this exact kit yet. But now that I got my hands on it, wow, this thing is incredible. And I do think there's a major place for this in a lot of people's setups. This little kit here does everything you could want it to do and more. It comes with all of these bits. There's very few things that this is missing, okay? If you have this kit, which I see this being less of like in your work bag and more so like at a stationary setup at the house, it comes with everything. We'll just go through the list real quick because I'd never seen this before. And then I got one and realized this is incredible. So basically, this little handle takes all of these bits. They are proprietary, which is the big downside. However, you can customize the length of these. So if I pull this down, this pulls out. Also, the bits that they give you a bunch of them, but they do give you one of these that's got the number 2 Phillips and the flathead together on the same one, which I don't love flipping bits, but this does make it a lot easier to like not have to get into your system if you have most of the bits that you use on this. It's also very simple. Simple is good, simple is fast. And so if I just have to flip it one time, flipping it one time versus having bits that are moving and they're double-sided and there's like potentially you have to go to the other side, to me, I just really like simple. Simple is good. This is really snug and really secure. With most multi-drivers, there's a little bit of play. There's absolutely no play with this. Obviously, it's a Wiha handle. It feels really good in the hand, which I love. No play. And then you have the option to change the length of your driver. Like significantly, you have so many settings, which we'll see if you can see all these dots on here. All of those are settings that you can change this to. Now, this is a rather expensive kit. I do believe it's $200 plus. But if I got this and gave this to a homeowner, they would have every single size of driver they ever needed. Same thing if you're sitting at a workstation. It is also a little bit of a bigger kit, but it's not absurd for how much you get in this kit. So if we go ahead and open this up, I'll just show you some of the sizes that are in here. It's got another Phillips and flathead double driver with a number 1 Phillips and a smaller flathead. Again, another set like that, another size of flathead, another size of flathead, double-sided, number 1, number 2 square. It's got a bunch of torques. To be exact, T7 through T40, which is incredible. This also comes with some hex drivers here, which goes all the way from 3/32 to 6 millimeter, which is 1/4 inch. And all of these from my finger down are hex drivers. So there's quite a bit there as well, metric and standard, which is incredible. And then it also comes with both metric and standard nut drivers. It goes from 9/32 all the way to 1/2 inch. And then on the metric, it goes from 5.5 to 11 mil. To have all of this in one system, there's no setup. Like with my system that's coming up here, you have to do some like actual work and kind of set it up how you want to, which is the big benefit, but also somewhat of a downside if you kind of don't want to think about it. You just want to have a big range of drivers. And the other downside of this being proprietary is that it's proprietary. So these aren't going to fit in your impact. It also means that you can't put in specialty bits. Again, the example I always use for this is like the T10 security bit or the hex security bit, but it goes a lot wider than that. If you really look at it, like there's not a number 3 Phillips in here, which is kind of weird. Again, I don't run into those super often, but like twice a month probably. It's really nice to have, and typically that's in this driver here. And I can do that because I have customizable bits in that where I don't in this system here. The big upside to this, variables, you can change the length of it. It also comes with all of these bits, which is an insane variety of bits. There's just little bits that like, if you need them, you don't have them. And like, it's not like you can go to the store, pick up a 1/4 inch bit, go out to your truck, get the bit case that has all of your security bits in it, or these random sizes. You know, you can buy a 1/4 inch bit case that has every size you need for like nothing at all, which is incredible. However, the functionality of this being a dedicated driver, this functions just as well as a dedicated driver, in my opinion. There's absolutely zero slop. You can change the lengths, which is even better than a dedicated driver. And for this one, again, I don't like flipping from bit to bit, but this is so simple that it doesn't mess anything up and it's secure enough. Like there's no play, there's no slop. And so I don't mind this as much because there's not small moving parts. It's going to be a lot harder for me to lose one of these and then have to replace it than it would be for me to lose one of these little tiny bits on the other side that I take out to use the nut driver and then I leave it somewhere and never have it again. And I have to order a new one, which is expensive. And also like, I'm just not going to do it. If we're being truthful, I know myself. And there's a very little chance that I'm ordering that bit to replace it. Now, this is probably the best set for this system. It's the drive lock. It's cool. It is expensive. And so if you're looking for a cheaper option that has a few different benefits to it as well, a much easier version to get. Again, this is probably my number 1 in this tier 2 slot. However, if you're looking for just easier, cheaper, faster, this Klein Modbox system, the Connect system here, this one is incredible. I didn't love it when it first came out, and now I've started really looking at it. It is insane, okay? It's really not that expensive, which is nice. And also, forget an 11-in-1. This is like a 47-in-1 in the smallest case possible. So if we take a look at all of these bits, these are all going to go in the tip of this driver here, which changes lengths as well. So if we pull this collar down, there's setting 2, setting 3, setting 4, which is quite a bit longer than a regular driver. And it also comes out, which means the same thing with this first driver here is that all of these go in your impact. And so if I grab this case and this driver, I can go out and do pretty much anything I want to with any fastener outside of metric sockets, okay? This has 6 different sizes of standard sockets, 9/16 down to 1/4 inch, and an adapter here. So I can even use the adapter to put it in the handle, so I can have a nut driver if I don't have my impact. Or if I have my impact, I can still use my screwdriver, and I can use this. There is a little bit of play in this. It's really not terrible. I personally don't mind play. Like, it doesn't bother me that much if the other functionality is there to justify wanting to use it. And on top of that, these come with the ProFlex bits, which if you've never tried them, you need to. They're the ones with the orange around them. They're insane. I love them. The only downside to them is that they're kind of hard to get. They only come in this Connect system right now in very specific ways. Whereas like the Milwaukee bits, you can order 3.5-inch Milwaukee bits for every single size. You'll see those in a second. And I think the fit is probably equal with Milwaukee's newer bits. However, this, again, is one of those systems you buy. It's a no-brainer kit, and now you have all of this. So not only do I have all of this in a system that I can use in a multi-driver, but if I have this in my bag, I know I have 6 sizes of impact-rated sockets as well, which I can use as sockets, nut drivers, whatever. I can put them in an actual ratchet and just kind of go from there. Or I can put them in my impact or in a screwdriver, which is really cool. Gives me a basic nut driver set for all of these systems, okay? The range of bits here is pretty incredible, and it takes 1/4 inch bits. So if I need a T10 security bit, I can get a T10 security bit from my security bit set, and I'm good. I can use it in a screwdriver. Again, I can use it in my impact if I want to, because we've definitely never done that. And on top of that, these cases are really nice. They're pretty sturdy. They lock really well, and they're very compact, where like I can actually fit this in a tool bag and not have to worry about it taking up too much space. Same thing with this kit. So if you're looking for a really, like me, a dedicated screwdriver kit, this is the one for you. If you're more into the multi-driver style and system, this one here is incredible, especially for fitting in a bag and just kind of going from there. If you're like walking in somewhere and you have no idea what you're doing, this has pretty much everything you need. It's got more than this case actually. However, this case is a lot smaller, a lot more versatile, and it goes in your impact. This is the second tier for a reason. The third tier is going to be a mixture of both, but this is the last one that you like don't actually have to kind of do some planning and do some ordering. I've done most of the planning for you, luckily, on this third one. And our third system, this is the old case. This is how I used to carry it. It has evolved since then. It's kind of spread out too, because a lot of the bits I had in here are in my new system. Much more advanced. So if you've ever seen this Wiha kit, I'll show you guys a little bit more of that after I show you guys the new version of the setup. But this kit here is my do-it-all kit, okay? This kit here not only doubles, again, just like this Klein Connect box, as an impact system, but it's got every bit that I need. I've got 2 tool bags, okay? So that means I've got one that goes with me into big jobs. It's my tech pack here. Or I have a smaller bag that goes in with me to like service calls, different things like that. This has actual carrying methods, so it's not uncomfortable for me to carry on my person or on my bag. It's really easy to transfer. It carries my impact as well, which is on the front side here. I get a lot of questions about this portion here. This case, it only comes on the SPMC right now. They haven't started selling this individually. I don't know that they will. Like, I don't have any inside information about that. All right, so it's the night before this video drops, and I just got an email that these are actually now available individually. So I'm going to leave a link to this individually in the description. I was right in my assumption that that would happen soon. I was so right that it actually happened in between the time I filmed this video and the time this released the day before. And if I'm out of breath, it's because I just ate so much brisket, more brisket than any one person should individually eat ever in their life. However, I wanted to let you guys know so you guys weren't stuck thinking you had to buy the SPMC, because it's just a lot just for this. So this is available individually. Want to let you guys know. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Make sure you guys subscribe. I actually like this little kit. I always made fun of these drill carriers because all your impacts have this little clip. However, I started wearing this. It's got a magnetic pouch on it, which is incredible. You can put it in your pocket. You can put it around your belt. It means you can move it easily. It means you can attach it to the front of your SC45, which is incredible. And then on top of that, it's also got these little loops around the outside, tape measure clip. And truthfully, my tape measure always sits on this side and my utility knife sits on this side. It makes it easier to carry stuff, truthfully. Keep things spread out, keep things in order. And I can move this, so if I want it in the front, I can have it in the front. If I'm on a lift, if I'm in a weird corner, I can put this on my side. I can take it off, and it can kind of just carry everything I needed to. So I always made fun of these little systems, but this one's money. I love this. So enough about the impact that it carries, and it also works incredibly well with. Go ahead and open this up. This is my baby right here, okay? This is my little creation, and you can see there's quite a bit that's been done to this. Not what you would call typical, but it is incredible, okay? The other thing that I do, a lot of times I don't carry a drill in for smaller stuff, but I do carry all of these drill bits that are 1/4 inch impact rated. So I've got everything you need in here pretty much to make it through most things. So this comes out. This is just 2 of the panels. You can see on the back side here, typically these panels Velcro to the back here. I have them stacked together. That way I can carry more things and have more storage. They have a bunch of different panel options. If you really wanted to get 2 of these, you could carry double the amount of bits. It would probably be better that way. However, I really like to be able to carry a wood bit, these impact rated bits that do pretty much just about everything. I don't know if they're impact rated or not, but I put them in my impact. I'm assuming they are, but a 3/16 basically for Tapcons. And then I think it works on everything. This is the Diablo. This is the one drill bit that I'm actually really in love with. Bosch makes one of these as well. I've used that one as well. It is good. It's the blue one of these. This is the Diablo. It's sweet. But they also work on all types of masonry, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I also have 1/4 inch drill bits in the 1/2 inch 3/8, and I have a 1/4 inch down here as well. This is the only way that I've found really comfortably to carry drill bits in here, which I will say the other Wiha system was a little bit easier to carry them in. Again, I'll talk about this a little bit more, but I could carry my step bit in here just fine. In this case, everything's kind of tighter, and there's not as much internal structure, so you have to create it. But with the carrying methods that it provides, all of the systems here, I personally prefer this because I can actually carry my impact on it. And it's just way cooler. Also, it just carries well. On this side here, talk about the handle driver itself. This is the Wiha Centrifix, maybe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. I slept on this thing for a long time. Saw it on another video from another creator, and I was like, all right, I'll pick one up. The bits don't move in this at all. Typically, what would be in here would be my Wera driver. But in this system here, with what I carry, it makes more sense to have this. This does not have onboard storage. And also, you can change all of these out for whatever you want. The bits, the drivers, everything in this system, and just get what you want and what you need, including this handle. If you really prefer a different style of handle, this will carry a longer bit style if you don't have all of these in here, which I do. The thing with this driver, this handle, is that the bits just don't move. So we'll get our T20 here. Sorry, T30. You can see this is a 3.5 inch bit. It is probably a 1/2 inch longer than what you would get with a normal dedicated driver. Again, these Milwaukee bits are fantastic, but there's just no play in this whatsoever. I've never seen that from a multi-driver like this. This has the best locking system that I've found. You do have to push it up in order to pull them out, and then same thing. It does lock. It doesn't auto lock on you, and also when it's in, you can't push it in. There's some sort of retention ball in here that when you pull this down, it actually holds it in. There's a reason it's in here now. I have I have like 30 some multi-drivers, which a lot of them are just bit holders. This is probably my favorite one now. I don't know. I've gotten a lot of the Wiha stuff recently. I absolutely love it. You guys let me know down in the comments if there's anything from Wiha, any of these brands that you love that I haven't seen yet. I love to find new tools, and you guys should subscribe. I love tools, and if you're watching this video, you probably love tools too, and we're probably pretty similar. So subscribe, help out the channel. It costs you nothing. I just don't understand how this thing here is so fantastic. Now, there's not a ton of functionality in this handle. However, it's just so good at what it does that's the main reason for this. And the kit has so much functionality that it doesn't really matter, okay? As far as in this other side goes, I don't love holding them like this, but it's just an easy place to carry these longer bits. They have seemed to have stayed in place, which is what I was worried about. But all of these are 3.5-inch bits. Milwaukee has the most readily and available bits ever. I have some of the Wiha bits. I like them. I have the Klein ProFlex bits. I like them. I like these Milwaukees probably just as much, and they're easier to get. Like, you can order all of these different styles and sizes in 2 separate versions, like in a 2-pack, in a 4-pack, in like a 10-pack, and not have to worry about it. So I ordered all of these in a 2-pack. Now I have 2 versions of all of these. Really easy, really inexpensive as well. For this example here, the ones that I keep on this side are all of my random Torx drivers. So we have a T10, T15, T20, and a T30 on this side. Those just fit under there, as well as a bit driver. Again, this is the one portion that I don't love, but if I had this dual-sided piece here and I could just put these bit holders in here, it would probably be significantly easier. I just don't want to get rid of my drill bits. It is what it is. I haven't found any need to do that yet, and so it's going to stay that way. But if we go ahead and look at what else I have in here, I do keep 2 of these dedicated Klein nut drivers. These are the hollow shafted 6-inch nut drivers from Klein. You can tell they're hollow because they have this gap in the middle in the color. So they have quite a bit of shaft that they can intake, which is great. 7/16, 9/16 for your 1/4-inch 3/8 hardware. These are the only 2 that I keep dedicated for at this point. It doesn't make sense to carry 6 to 8 different sizes for the standard when you could carry these flip sockets. These flip sockets are cool. They're really easy to do as long as you don't have to take it off and take off these back pieces. So for things like my 1/4-inch and 5/16, I'm not going to be using a ton of them without using 1/4-inch and 5/16 together. Same thing, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2-inch, 9/16. And then typically I keep another shaft. You can order 4 different sizes of shafts in here. And that way, if I do have 2 sizes on this that aren't like paired together, I can actually just switch them and kind of go from there and have 2 different nut drivers on one, which actually gives me 4, which is incredible. That being said, this is on the longer shaft. It's not the bigger one. Like, this is a replaced shaft that I like the longer one, so I use the longer one. They're magnetic. They're really easy to flip on the front. And as long as you're not using these as a bit holder, which I hate, you're good to go. I mean, I have all of the major sizes that I need in 3 different nut drivers, with 2 having the hollow shafts, which is incredible. They do come in a pack with all of them. Again, I love them. People say the magnets break. I haven't had mine break yet. Mike, from our last video, which I will tag, it was incredible. We gave away a really cool tool bag. You have to see it. If you haven't seen it yet, you want to see it. Just trust me. I've never been excited for a video like I was for that one. And then I keep this Milwaukee bit lock in here as well. This is a 6-inch extension. I don't really love it or hate it. I do like the connection. Like, with this system, it stays open. And you can't lock it. And then if you put a bit in here, it locks. And then it pulls out. There's a magnet on it, which is cool. And other than that, I mean, there's nothing crazy. I don't know. I've always kept the 6-inch extension in there. And so I replaced my Irwin with that one, and it's been cool. I love it. I don't know. I don't have a super heavy opinion on this one like I do on some of this other stuff. And then this bit extension stays in here as well. That's all of this stuff on this side. So it all fits in here and stays in there super nicely. I love this case, the SC45. Again, the hardback on here is cool. I don't know if it does anything or not, but it's cool. The whole thing is cool. It's the coolest setup I've ever had. Now, if we pull this out, which I like that it comes out, okay? It also has these pieces here, which are really nice. If you connect them with the pieces on the other side, the way this case is supposed to work, or gives you the option to do, now it has these webs, and so it doesn't open up fully on you. So this is something that's possible too. If you like actually want to work out of this, you can pull your stuff out, you know, have something in the bottom here. Personally, I prefer to keep them like this. I don't have stuff that falls out anyway, and I'm careful how I open it, all that other stuff, so I don't have stuff just flying out, but it is what it is. These two setups right here, you can do this with any of the panels that they have. They have like 6 panels for it. SC45 panels. If you go to Veto's website, the SC45, you can see all the list of panels. They have them all there. You can get, they're incredible. If you have a completely different setup in mind, but having a personal setup means that I can do literally, like I can have whatever I want. If there's something I run into in a year, or if I start doing something significantly different, you know, you run into that during times where like you're doing generators and you have to have one specific bit. You could start carrying that bit in this case. You don't have to go get a new setup, new system. You have room, you have things that you can change out. So in this, on the back side, this is just the little fully submerged pouch. We've kind of been through all of these bits. I do keep a spade bit here in case I have any type of wood, which personally I don't run into a lot, but in some of the offices in our factories and facilities, they'll have wood studs randomly in the offices because they were built inside. I don't know. It's kind of random, but it happens. Again, that masonry bit, 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch drill bits in here as well. The 1/4 inch is down here. You can't really see it, but you could fit a couple more bits in here if you wanted to. As long as they're longer, they're not hard to get to. And then on this side, this is kind of the hard part about this system, was finding a way to secure these 1/4 inch bits. But then I just put these 1/4 inch bit holders in here, which these are the ones from Klein, and it's been great. So at the top here, I have 2 just regular of the normal size 1/4 inch bits, which this is really what the bit holder's for. But I've got a bunch of the hex. I've got a few different sizes of Torx as well, just in case I want a shorter version of the impact. So the drill and taps are for 632 and 832 screw sizes, which are device sizes, thread sizes, which sometimes they get gunked up. I do service work. You use old panels. You never know what the person before you did. So it's really nice to have these drill taps, which they just make light work of messed up threads, different things like that. They do kind of, I really wish I could just have 1/4 inch bits up top. I could probably carry another section of these, which would be nice. And also like, I kind of have to push them over, but it's really not difficult. Anytime I want to get to these, they're pretty easy to pull out and get to. Also, these are security Allens. I don't know if you can tell or not. They're very tiny, but these are all security Allens because I can do that in this system, because they're my bits. I can choose what I put in here. I can choose what I don't. If you don't want the Klein bits, use the Milwaukee. Use whatever you want. It really is super easy to just like literally whatever you have and whatever you use right now to get this and put it all in the way that you want it. Now, I also keep these longer bits. These are the 3.5 inch bits, which I love in my impact. I really enjoy using longer bits. The 2 inch bits just aren't long enough. These bits are perfect. Okay. Also, they make the perfect screwdriver size for this whole system here. Now with the 3.5 inch bit, it's basically exactly the length I need it to be a regular dedicated driver. There's no slop, and all of these bits fit extremely well. Now with this, I have made a couple decisions. You can see there's quite a few different bits in here. The Klein is the larger version of whatever type of driver this is. So my number 2 Phillips here is my Klein because it's larger. The Milwaukee is the smaller one, which is the number 1 Phillips. My Klein is my number 2 square. My Milwaukee is my number 1 square. This is just for me to be able to tell what's what. If I see a square and it's a Milwaukee, I know for a fact that it's the smaller version, okay? Then I have 2 of these vessel drivers here. These are the flatheads, which Vessel makes some great stuff. I don't have a ton of theirs. However, you can use any flathead that you want. A lot of people don't make 3.5-inch flathead impact rated driver bits because like you don't want to put a flathead in your impact. It just is the worst. If you've tried it, you know. If you haven't, go ahead, like try it. Let me know how it goes. And then I also have in the end here, I have the T25 Milwaukee bit. Again, just the easiest bits to get. It's the only one that I keep out because it's the most common that I see. And then it just slides back in. You can pull these out while they're in here. However, it's just significantly easier to have it pull out. This is just to secure it, basically. You can pull them out, you can put them in. It's a little bit more difficult, especially when, like, if I open this case up, like, this is already pronounced enough that it's not difficult to get out at all. Or this obviously comes out as well, so I can just pick it up, pull it out. But if I'm carrying it, like, it's not coming out. It's secure, it's tight, it's snug. Push it down in there. And I'm good to go. Which, by the way, it does feel full when you have it like this. Like, it almost doesn't want to close. It closes just fine. I don't think there's a ton of strain on the zippers here. Carabiner system, super sweet. And then obviously this goes on the outside. Now, the oldest version that I have of this, which is going to be significantly less expensive, there's a few less qualities of that, is this Wiha utility bag. This is the OG. But basically you can see there's this molly webbing in here. And so you can put whatever bits you want to in here. These really aren't super specific right now, so I'm not going to go through them. I would just do the exact same setup I had in here, just with those bits. So it's a lot simpler. It's a lot cheaper. I think this is $40. I think this is like 100 something, either 100 or 120. These are the Wiha 6-inch color coded, which I've used for a long time. I absolutely love. I think they're my favorite of the color coded nut drivers. They're just not hollow shafted, which is why the Kleins are in here, but it's a great little setup. I slapped a carabiner on the top of this little thing here. It does not have a belt clip, so you can still carry it on the outside of bags. You just don't have all of the functionality that you get with the SC45. And truthfully, this is just way cooler. So now if you want to see us try to build the perfect toolkit for $300 and give it away to one of the apprentices here in Dallas, you guys can head up here. Remember, it's all for his glory, and I'll see you guys on the next one.